right, guys, it is time to talk about Xbox and specifically Compulsion games. Boys, things are not looking good. All right. All over the industry right now, there are a lot of bad things happening. There is a lot of layoffs happening, a lot of studios closing down. We're going to talk about Bungie firing over 50% of their staff. But in this particular segment, we're going to focus on another studio that decided to mess around just a little bit too much. On top of the fact that Xbox, unironically, is also messing around a little bit too much. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you guys want to see more content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join me every single day, 9 p.m. over on the main channel, where you can catch me live every single day, 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope to see every single one of you there. Now back to the main video. So let's talk about Compulsion Games first. So who is Compulsion Games? Well, without getting too specific over the developers that decided to make some statements, or community managers that decided to make some statements that were very anti-gamer. You know, you can't even say anti-chud. It was realistically just like, screw all you gamers kind of a thing. This particular studio is the one that was behind South of Midnight. And we've talked about South of Midnight before many, many times. And the thing is, when you're a studio like South of Midnight, you feel very comfortable. When you are subsidized by a massive corporation like Microsoft, for example, or Xbox in general, right? But mainly Microsoft. When you're subsidized by a corporation like that, you feel very confident. You feel like you're getting ready to go on Twitter and tell everybody they're a freaking chud and to not buy your game. Because in your mind, you think none of it matters. You've got paid your salary. You know, you're fine. You had work for the however many years you've been with Compulsion Games, and everything's fine. It doesn't matter how many gamers you piss off online. It doesn't matter how you make your company look. It doesn't matter how many chuds that you own online. At the end of the day, everything's going to be fine. Well, that's not quite how it goes. That's never how it goes, to be honest with you. And now we have another example of, unfortunately for them, you know, it's coming home. It's coming home. So Xbox Studios is now bracing for a reset. And we're going to talk about this reset in a second, because I don't know if you guys are aware, but Xbox has officially announced that they are raising the price of their consoles again. And this is after Asha Sharma specifically stated that console gaming is too expensive, that it is unaffordable, and that they're trying to bring it back to affordability. And I guess this is how they're going to do it. So anyway, you know what this is, right? When you see them raising the price of the consoles, you know what this is? This is called your Game Pass tax. This is called the, hey, we wanted to win you over by reducing the price of Game Pass again, but if you thought we were just going to lose all that money, yeah, that's not going to happen. This is called the Game Pass tax. This is called, we're going to subsidize our bad decisions that we know we can't actually go through with. We're going to subsidize it by hoping we can raise the price of the hardware right before GTA 6 comes out. We're hoping that GTA 6, when it releases, allows us to sell a bunch of consoles at a much higher premium. But anyway, we'll talk about that. Let's focus more on Compulsion Games. So, Compulsion Games, the studio behind South of Midnight. In case you guys need a reminder about South of Midnight, it's the video game that did gangbusters numbers. All right, we're talking 1,438 concurrent players. You got about 34 people playing right now. This game was a massive success. All right, it released at $40. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic. Released at $40, right? The lowest recorded price was $29.99. They're not even bothering to put this thing on sale. I might be on sale for the summer sale right now. I haven't checked. I don't really care to check this game. But in any case, we now have confirmation that a lot of them are being fired. And we're just going to go over a couple examples. And again, do not harass these people. Do not bother these people. We're not trying to do that. We're just trying to talk about the fact that there is a bunch of layoffs that are happening within this company that had certain people working at the company that decided that it was in their best interest to essentially shit on people for whatever that reason may be. So I saw this post from Rebs Gaming that says, I'm sad to report that the Xbox layoffs have begun. Compulsion Games South of Midnight developers were hit with mass layoffs. Now, we don't know the extent of what the mass layoffs actually are. We don't know, right? All we know is that they're firing a lot of people. Some people are speculating that the layoffs are going to go even further than that, to the point of studio closure. But we don't actually know that yet. But we're just going to kind of see what they're saying, because, you know, obviously some people are making posts on their public LinkedIn's. It says, "Hi everyone. After a couple of wonderful years at Compulsion Games, I'm looking for my next opportunity. I'm very grateful for my time, what it taught me, how to be a better collaborator, etc., etc., etc." Right? After 5 wonderful years at Compulsion, I am now open to work. Hashtag open to work. I'm a principal 3D artist with almost 20 years of experience. 20 years, bro. 20 years of experience. Now, again, I just want to reiterate something, okay? Every single one of these people that are getting fired right now, these are not all bad developers. I want to be very honest with you, because I know it's very easy for people to just shit on them because they happen to work for a shitty fucking studio. It doesn't mean that every single one of these people are bad. Are 90% of them bad? Probably, right? But the unfortunate truth is that when you are working for a ship like this, where you have some really bad people at the helm, and you have some really bad people running their mouth on social media, and basically using your company to have like a safety net behind what they're doing, it ends up leading to a situation where people that do, and she might be, hey, listen, this person might be a woke psychopath. Who really knows, right? I don't remember seeing this person ever saying anything online, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. However, when you're losing people that have 20 years of experience at a studio or developing video games, 20 years of experience, that's a long fucking time. 20 years of experience is even pre like DEI nonsense, right? So 20 years of experience, and that person's getting fired because of decisions that were made by the executives over at Compulsion Games and Xbox Studios as a whole. Decisions that could have easily been avoided, but they chose not to for whatever that fucking reason may be. So you got all kinds of people getting fired, right? This person, Shelby, says, "Hello, everyone. After an incredible journey at Compulsion Games, I'm seeking a new opportunity. Would appreciate any support. Most recently, I worked as character concept artist at the Xbox game studio Compulsion Games on an announced title. My responsibilities include blah, 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 sketching and all that stuff, right? After nearly 6 years at Compulsion Games, significant professional growth, having shipped one of my most creatively satisfying titles in a career, I am now open to work. I am a dialogue design person with over 10 years of experience in the industry." You know what's crazy, bro? I see these studios that are getting people getting fired left and right. I see them getting fired left and right. I see everything just coming down on them. And a lot of them, in my opinion, brought it on themselves. I see all of this happening, but you know who I don't see getting fired? Sweet Baby Inc. I don't see any of these actual consultancy studios getting any kind of repercussions for their involvement with all these video games that are leading to the layoffs of the people who work on them, who were convinced. They were convinced to do certain things. You know, there have been people that have come out from Compulsion Games, and, you know, again, you could believe it, you could not believe it, but there are people that have stated that when SBI came in, they decided that to make certain changes that were completely against their initial design, and they rolled with it. You know, they rolled with it. These consultancy groups, because it's not just SBI. Just to be clear, it's not just SBI. These consultancy groups are all joining these studios, helping to make certain decisions that are probably not the best for the video game. It might be best for the company in the sense of its image. It might be best for, like, oh, well, you won't be seen as racist because you have this or that or whatever, or you have our seal of approval. What an amazing fucking job, right? To be able to convince someone of a problem that doesn't exist, and then providing them a solution for the problem that doesn't exist, and then convincing these people that your seal of approval is what's necessary to ship a game. It's actually unbelievable. But it's a great job, right? It's a great job for them. So, but they managed to keep their jobs. Everything is all copacetic. It's great. They got paid. They don't see, that's the beautiful thing about consultancy. They get paid, and they don't actually have to worry about whether or not the game does well or not. It's not like they rely on the game in order to get money. They get money from the studio in a one-shot deal, and that's it. All is well with the world at that point. So that's the kind of sad part about this, because you see people getting fired that may not have necessarily agreed with some of the things that have happened, But at the end of the day, they either chose to stay quiet or were forced to stay quiet. Either or, they stayed quiet, and it all leads to the same. It all leads to the same fucking road. It all leads to the same exact thing, right? Oh, did it disconnect? It'll reconnect in a second. It'll reconnect in a second. Don't worry, guys. Just give it a second. Give it a second. Are we back? Are we back now? YouTube don't like me talking about this. Are we back? It's kind of crazy. Every time I talk about SBI, I suddenly disconnect. It's kind of weird. It's so weird. All right, we're back. All right, so anyway, so yeah, sometimes these people, they stay quiet, whether by force or whether by choice, and at the end of the day, it all leads to the same exact road. So we also got this example. The Xbox layoff started last week with Compulsion Games. These are just some of the posts that I found. None of the posts confirm that the studio is being shut down, but it seems like it. This person says, open to work. Lead principal environment artist. Hey, everyone, I'm now open to work and actively looking for my next opportunity. I have over a decade of experience in video games, shipping 6 titles on PC and consoles. That's insane, bro. Insane. In an unexpected turn, is it really unexpected? In an unexpected turn of events, I've officially turned on the open to work banner. Is it really unexpected, though? This is what I'm saying. Like, guys, if I worked for a company like Compulsion Games and I saw all the nonsense that was happening, after a while, I would start to think to myself, I'd be like, you know, this ain't looking good. This is not looking good. And I'm sure that Compulsion Games probably gaslit their entire employees and told them that the game is doing fantastic. I'm sure they gaslit their employees at every single meeting, and they told them, hey, yeah, we got 3 million players engaged, because they probably use Game Pass numbers to bolster their fucking bullshit. So their employees thought that everything was fine. I'm sure that they lied through their teeth to keep these guys working. I'm sure they did. But even if they did, you got to learn how to smell bullshit. And I feel like with this situation, you should have been easily able to see that things are not looking good. The moment you launched your game that you know costs $100 million on average, and you saw it released to $1,400 on Steam, and that was one of your top platforms, clearly there's something wrong here. Anyway, after an amazing and meaningful chapter with growth, collaboration, friendship, and so many accomplishments, I've chosen to step into this new chapter with excitement rather than fear. Okay. After several years of Compulsion Games and Xbox Studios, I'm looking for my next opportunity as a senior tech artist. During this time, I worked across game development, building tools, and they're firing some major like developer titles. After an incredible time as part of an environment art team at Compulsion Games, I'm now ready for my next opportunity as a 3D artist. Open to roles in Montreal. Of course, Montreal. Why am I not surprised? So I'll say this, man. I think this is honestly incredible, because we all saw this coming. I feel like every single regular gamer out there, again, even if you don't take part in the culture war nonsense or anything like that, just anybody with a brain can be like, yep, this is probably not going to end well for this company. I know I've been saying it for fucking months. If honestly, it might even be years. It might even be like, when did South of Midnight come out? South of Midnight came out 14 months ago. It has been years. Or years. I use that loosely. But you know what I mean. 14 months ago. So I played this game 14 months ago because I played it at release. And I've been saying it for 14 months that this studio is not going to see the end of the tunnel. They're just not. It's not going to. And it eventually always happens. They can say what they want online. You can have all the shills online tell me how wrong I am. I'm just a chud. I'm a grifter. I don't play games. Whatever. Blah, blah, blah. All the same fucking tired shit that these unbelievably, severely lacking creativity kind of people say every single day. Eventually, this is always the result. I've lost count as to how many times this has happened. Because it's literally happened so many times. You can't count it on 2 hands, that's for sure. And then on top of that, too, it's literally happening to Bungie right now. And they had some of the most egregious fanboys out of everybody. At least the people who were fanboying for South of Midnight, At least us, that was like the access media. So they had to, right? They were getting paid to either with like money or with actual like swag and access and all that stuff. That's usually how they get paid. They get paid with free product and access to special interviews and all that stuff. So that's really, when I say paid, I don't mean with money. Like I feel like very few of them actually get money. Most of them are paid with access or free stuff, right? But those people I understand because, you know, that's their thing. You know, they're online, they're shilling for corporations. They need to make sure they maintain their access. I get it. You know, I may not agree with it, but I get it. It is what it is. But the Bungie fanboys, those motherfuckers were doing it for the love of the game. And I don't mean the game of Marathon. I mean the game, like the shilling game. They were doing it. They were doing it for the love of the game. So these people that do this online, they do it. And they do it knowing that this is going to be the result, but they still have to project onto you while the studio is alive, even if it's alive for only a short amount of time. They got to project onto you that you're wrong, even though they know that you're going to be proven right at some point. And then when you are proven right, they'll say, well, it didn't die because it didn't give gamers what it wanted. It died because of greedy executives and stuff. They'll take something that's actually true, and they'll make it bigger than it actually is. They don't want to admit that it's a compilation of things. Like, I can admit that it's a compilation of things. I can admit that it's multiple things that led to the failure of South of Midnight. It wasn't just like the ugly characters or anything like that. Like, it was multiple things that led to that. But they'll just be like, no, it's the executive's fault. It's the company's, it's Xbox, Microsoft. They don't ever want to blame the developers. Why? Why don't they want to blame the developers? Because those developers give them special access to interviews. They give them special access to potential swag that they could get, collector's editions, whatever it may be. The developers are their way in, so they're always nice to the developers. But the executives who they never speak to and who they never meet outside of the developers that are higher up ranks, like directors, for example, when we're talking about the executives for the companies, they don't ever meet those people, so they don't give a fuck. They don't care. They'll blame them instead of blaming the people who actually made the game at a creative level. Even some of the executives who made the game at a creative level. You know, so in my opinion, I think it's insane. I think the toxic positivity is one of the worst things that's happening right now throughout the entire industry. And this is just another example of it. It's another example of it. And it's coming at a time where the moves are being made. And I think everybody's banking on GTA. They are getting rid of all of this bloat, all of this nonsense. They're getting rid of all of these studios that have provided absolutely nothing to these corporations. They're getting rid of all of them, and they're relying on GTA to be the thing that gets them through. I really think that's what's happening. Because Xbox raising the price of their consoles again, I think this happened twice in a year, right? And don't get it twisted. There's no way that this is by accident. They're increasing their price starting August. So 2 to 3 months before GTA comes out. Yeah, bro. They absolutely know that this is for GTA, and they can say whatever they want about market conditions or whatever nonsense. This is for GTA. Everybody's out there attacking Steam for selling a fucking box at cost, or their cost or whatever, including their R&D and all that, because they won't subsidize the machine since it's not a console with subscriptions and stuff like that. But here you have Xbox, and probably, to be real with you, PlayStation's probably going to follow suit. You're probably going to see a $999 PS5 Pro in a near future. You're probably going to see that coming in the near future. So get ready for that. They're absolutely doing this for anything. Bro, it is not market conditions. It is 100% related to GTA. So they'll pretend like it is market conditions, but that's bullshit. We all know that's bullshit at this point, especially when it happened so fast compared to the last one. So, I mean, anyway, that's basically it. The Xbox Series S 512 gigs is going from $399 to $499. Xbox Series S 1 terabyte is going $449 to $599. Xbox Series X 1 terabyte is going $649 to $800. And then the digital version of the 1 terabyte is going $599 to $750. And if you're wondering, hey, well, what happened to the 2 terabyte? What's the price of the 2 terabyte? Well, guess what? It's zero, because they're discontinuing the 2 terabyte model. Xbox is discontinuing the 2 terabyte model instead of changing the price on the 2 terabyte model. Goodbye, 2 terabyte model. It's over. So, very interesting moves happening, boys. That's all I'm saying. And considering Asha Sharma was like, yeah, console gaming is really expensive. And we need to make it affordable again. We need to make it affordable again. Actually, I think she said gaming as a whole is too expensive. But she's like, yeah, we need to make it affordable again. This is how they're making it affordable again. This is how. By lowering the subscription, but then boosting the console. It's a beautiful time to be alive, boys. Think about it. How much... let's see. Ultimate was what? $29.99, right? Ultimate was $29.99 with Call of Duty. And now it's what? $22.99 without Call of Duty? Right? So like $7, $8 difference, give or take. So if you were to take a calculator, right? If you were to take a calculator and you would take, how much is this raising? Let's see. This is raising $150. So you take $150 and divide that by the $7 that you're saving by going to a cheaper Game Pass. Bro, Xbox just solidified almost 22 months. Almost by charging that $150, they solidified a difference of about almost 22 months of Game Pass subscription. That $7 difference. So that $7 difference they lost for every one console they sell at $150 more, they solidify about almost 21 to 22 months of that difference in $7. Just in that $150. And that's per one customer. So one customer who buys this console is worth 21 to 22 months. If they buy the one that's $150 more, 21 to 22 months of Game Pass. In terms of the difference. That's what they're worth. That's crazy. Insane, bro. Anyway, that's basically it, boys. Compulsion Games, RIP.